there, everybody. Welcome back to the Planes, Trains, and Comic Books channel. My name's Matt, and today we're going to review After School number 1. But before we get into that, if you guys wouldn't mind sharing, subscribing, commenting, it really helps me out and lets me know what you guys want to see more of. So, with that being said, let's get straight into it. All right, we got the cover here for After School number 1. It is an Image comic, and it is by Benson, Moorhead, Hinkle, and Miro. And we start off on the first page with our main character, Nora. She is at school and in biology class, and she is dissecting a frog very poorly. So much so that everybody in the class is very grossed out, including the teacher, when they see what she's done to this frog. So once she gets home from school, she plays some video games, which she says is where she feels most at home. She's not nervous or anxious. And it seems like that is the main problem with her. She has extreme anxiety. It wasn't that she wanted to mutilate the frog. It's that she can't stop shaking. So because of this, her parents get her a support animal, which is this dog that she names Janie. And this seems to do the trick. Having Janie really lets Nora get out of her shell and takes away all her day-to-day extreme anxiety issues. And even more than that, it seems that Nora has gotten good at things that she didn't even think she would be able to do, like play soccer really well. But it seems like maybe these things aren't fully under her control, because we get a really creepy picture of Janie looking like she's concentrating on Nora extremely hard while Nora's playing soccer. And then later that same night, it seems that Janie's having something going on with her. Her eyes all big and bulging like it was before. And then this giant monster comes out of Janie's mouth and goes out the window. Then the next day, Nora and her mom take Janie for a walk, and there's all these dead animals that look like they've been torn apart outside of her house. Then one night, Nora wakes up to a loud sound, and Janie is not in the bed with her. So naturally, she gets scared and kind of starts to look around for Janie. And she hears the noise coming from the kitchen, so as she walks around the corner, she is greeted by the sight of her dog, Janie, smoking and drinking coffee and standing on 2 legs. And that's where I'm going to stop. I don't want to spoil anything else. So the premise for this comic is an interesting one. We get introduced to this girl, Nora, who's got extreme anxiety, so much so that she can't function in day-to-day school and whatnot. And it was really fun to see her get this dog, especially because they don't really tell you exactly what it is at first. And you just see Janie staring at Nora intensely with those crazy eyes. So I think that part of the comic is fun. But the further I got into it, I had a hard time understanding exactly what was going on. Sometimes I felt like pages were missing. There seemed to be extreme personality shifts in Janie once we get the reveal that she is sentient. And to me, those personality changes weren't really explained or consistent. So sometimes she'd be super sweet and helpful and nice to Nora, and sometimes she wouldn't be, or she would be aggressive towards other characters. But I didn't quite understand the rules of her character. And this comic is a horror anthology, so this first issue is actually a full story in itself, which I actually like. It's kind of nice to have a nice fat long story wrap up, and you don't have to wait for a 6-issue miniseries or something. But with it being a horror comic, there is a lot of gore and stuff in this. I didn't show it, but when she's dissecting the frog at the beginning, they show that frog close up, and it's pretty gross after she's hacked at it nervously. And then later on, Janie gets pretty violent with other animals and other people. So just know that going in. I know the art style kind of looks more like cutesy, and it is a story about a girl and her dog, but it definitely has its really messed up moments. And the events that happen later, it definitely crosses over into mature territory with the violence. I thought the art in this was really good. It definitely fits the tone of the book. Like I said, this kind of cutesy feeling is happening, so the art kind of matches that. It seems nice and happy, but then when it needs to get creepy, it does. And it's more shocking because it is that more cartoony style. It makes both the cute scenes and the gory scenes hit a lot harder. So overall, while there were things I liked in this book a lot, it just felt lacking in some ways. It seemed it would gloss over important things that I needed to know, or not explain things at all that I needed to know to fully get where the story was going. And then it would spend a lot of time in areas in the story that weren't really fleshed out or didn't seem like they needed to be there. And I just felt like it didn't fully build the lore or the mythology behind what is going on with Janie and why she's doing what she's doing. So because of that, it made it harder to get into towards the middle and end of the book, because I was constantly being like, wait, so why is she doing that? Because some stuff just seemed to come out of nowhere. So while I like the art and the premise of the story, the actual execution of the story didn't really work for me. So I'm going to give this one a 2.5. I think this story had a lot of promise. books, and maybe it requires multiple read throughs in order to fully understand what was going on. But if you have to do that as a reader, that means it kind of missed the mark on the writing. So personally, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I do like that this is actually an anthology series. So like I said, this story wraps up in the first issue and the next issue is a different story. So that might actually keep me coming back to this, even though I wasn't impressed with this first issue. But that's just my opinion. So if you saw anything you liked, definitely go pick that up at your local comic book store, and we will see y'all in the next one.